Hello everyone, my name's Adrienne and this is a VR to Lisa and Peggy Papez's 21 tarot questions prompt. When I saw the original videos, I was so stoked and so excited that I thought that I would give this technology a try and do a video for you all. I hope you enjoy it. So question number 1, what is a deck that they'll have to pry over your cold dead hands? And for me, that is the Waite deck. This is my original deck. This is my very first deck. This is the source of my tarot journey. It symbolises all the other decks, because I don't particularly have a favourite one at the moment. I like to use a lot of decks, depending upon my mood. So there's not one in particular that I really love, but if I was to die with that tarot, that would just be dreadful, in my opinion. Second question is, what is your guilty pleasure deck? And for me, this is the Tarot of the Magical Forest. Just love this deck. It is cute. It is playful. I laugh every time I look at the images. I find them so endearing. I connect with them. I feel joyful and happy even if I'm doing the most bringing out my shadow spreads. I don't feel terribly threatened by the images, and so I'm able to read deeply with them. But the joy that I feel every time, it's just lovely. The third question is, what's the deck you wish existed? And for me, it has to do with the art style. As a comparison, the Waite deck is line work. It's kind of simple and two-dimensional, and it's sort of coloured in an illustration. What I would love to see is artwork which creates a lot of depth, artwork which has more shadow and light, something like Caravaggio or Eugene Carrière. Sorry if I've pronounced his name incorrectly. He's a French artist, absolutely beautiful work. Caspar David Friedrich, the list kind of goes on really. That kind of style of artwork where I can feel I can get drawn into the picture more and associate my experiences with it a little bit more. What deck would I give to a new reader? The Waite deck. Every card has an image. There's symbology. There's a lot you can draw with. There's a lot of resources out there. As Dustin from Modern Metaphysique said, it's just the perfect deck, I reckon, to give to a new person coming to tarot. What deck do you want to get along with, but it just never clicked? The Greer Tarot. A lot of my tarot reading class colleagues have used it. And it's quite colourful, which I appreciate. And it's kind of simple with regards to the images, so the meanings come to you quite readily. But, yeah, I just find it really hard to connect with. I think it's how the line work comes across as harsh to me. And it's just something that I can never really sort of get along with. The next question is, which deck do you only keep for the art? And for me, that's the Shadowscape deck. I love this artwork. I can't see it though. My eyesight is not the best. If the cards were bigger, it would be perfect to look at the artwork and just gaze at it adoringly for ages. But alas, I couldn't shuffle it. And even though this is a good sized deck to use, I just find the pictures are just a little bit small for me. But I mean, it's just exquisite in the detail. Quite beautiful. I love it. Love it. The next question is, what deck did you buy because everyone else did? And for me, that was the John Bauer deck. I love the look of the images. And everyone I saw on YouTube was going bananas about it. And I thought I'd give it a go, but when I got it into my hands, and they're going, I don't know the stories behind them, the images. And it's like they took the artist's original artwork and married it to the tarot, rather than an artist specifically creating images for a tarot deck. There's a disconnect here for me. Still a beautiful deck though. I love the images. What deck is over your head or just baffles you? And that is the Cosma Visions Tarot deck. Got it. This deck starts the journey of the major arcana when you die, and describes the journey of your soul before your next rebirth. It's very much similar to the book from the 90s. I think it's John Newton Howard, The Journey of Souls. I also love the artwork. I think it's exquisite. I love the idea of the journey. I love that death card. But it requires a particular mindset. It requires a look of reading and a sort of opening up of one's consciousness to be able to understand further. The artwork's exquisite. It's quite different artwork as well. It reminds me a little bit of Van Gogh with the colours and the movement. But yes, requires a bit of work for me, this deck. What deck surprised you? That for me is the Tarot of the Magical Forest. This was my first deck. That was cute. I don't normally buy decks that are cute. And this is, in my mind, some of them are just silly. Like, look at the big eyes. They're sort of like, is that guy being serious? Yes, but does he look serious? No, not particularly. And always, makes me wonder sort of what's going on. And this was a deck that I find very gentle. And I bought it during the lockdowns in 2020 with COVID, and it just brought me a lot of joy, which has continued to this day. And because it's such a good reader for me, I find I'm now looking at other cute kind of decks and enjoying myself absolutely immensely. Some of them I actually prefer more to some of the ones with more serious. Like, how can you not be happy when you look at that frog? Unbelievable. It's so cute. What deck doesn't really work for you, but you keep it as a collectible? I don't know if I keep decks as a collectible. However, the Margarete Petersen Tarot. I really love the majors. The minors, very difficult to read. very, very difficult to read. I would probably use this deck for Mages Only spreads. It's very expansive, I find, the images. It's so out there. But, yeah, very, very hard to read. I'm hoping one day I'll get around to having a look in it. But, yeah. What deck is your favourite gilded deck? The Dream Visions Tarot. It's got holographic edging. I love it. It suits the ethereal nature of the cards. These images are out of this world. There's a softness, a quality of softness to them. The eyes are like, well, that's not really, doesn't really look human. There's just something a little bit space-like or out of this world, and I just love it. So the edging, just, it fits with the deck so much. Yeah. Words escape me on this one. What deck do you love but hate the cardstock? And this is the Silhouettes Tarot. I love the look of this tarot, but there's a couple of things I don't like about the cardstock. As it just showed you brilliantly then, it slides. I find it really hard to manage, and when I shuffle, I do overhand shuffling, and cards go everywhere. I just find it really, really difficult to keep it in one spot. The other thing is that I think this deck was printed in China, and when it came to me, it stank of chemicals. It was the most horrendous smell, and I had to put it away somewhere where it could air out for quite a number of weeks. And it still smells. And I still haven't used it. Which is a shame, because I really like the look of it. And now I'm going to have to put it away, because the smell is quite revolting. What deck gives you the willies? I don't own any decks that give me the willies. I suppose any images that too much blood and gore in them would give me the willies. Also, images where the people have really huge eyes, I find really, really strange, and just puts me off. So I don't like that deck. Now, what deck do I do for Shadow Work? That is, if I can get it out of the box, the Deviant Moon Tarot. I love this deck. It took me a while to get used to the images, but when I passed or crossed that barrier of what the hell is going on here, they're all quite strange. I really, really love it. I find it, I can read the shadow aspects of myself and others better with this deck. And in some cases, it's like I can smell the rotten fish in these cards. They're just great. And that Two of Cups is bloody creepy. What deck do you love in theory but not in practice? That is Tarot Illuminati. There's so much sumptuous detail and colours in this deck, but I find it very there's a very short picture plane to it. and I find it hard to read hard to read the images and the symbols, and hard to differentiate between the foreground and the background. Not this card, these cards as such, because there's not a lot going on in the background, but when there is detail in every square inch of the card, I find it tricky to know what to look at. And therefore I don't get drawn into the story of the card, and I don't associate or identify with the people in the card or what's going on. What deck would you never use to read for someone else? And that is the Bauer Tarot. This is just so cute and so adorable, and the cardstock's a bit flimsy and it's bowing, but I kind of look at it and go, oh, it's so cute. I love that Seven of Swords. It is so cute. And I don't want, for some reason, I don't want anyone else's hands on it. It's just a deck for me. Oh, so cute. Oh, it's so cute, cute, cute. What deck would you never use for yourself? The Starman Tarot. I don't get along with this deck. I've seen images of it. It's highly detailed. There's so much symbols in there. It's a bit garish or confronting in the way the artwork depicts the symbols and the images that I just cannot connect to. And it's just so busy. So for me, I would never use it for myself. I don't think I could read with it for anyone else. The next question, what deck could you not bring yourself to buy? The Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. Again, this is a deck that I can't connect quite with the images. I like the idea of the night sky in the cards, but it's the line types and there's a disconnect between the foreground and the background. I can't quite describe it, but I can't really connect to it. I would love to. I would love to have a look at a deck with images of the goddess and to delve more into that subject matter, but this is not it. This is not for me. The next question is, what is your favourite pip deck? And for me, I don't really read with pips. And this, I suppose, is the closest I can come to a pip deck. I mean, there are images or some symbols associated with the minor arcana, which helps me to read the cards. And I find this exciting, visually exciting to look at. I love the colours. I love the contrast between the foreground and the background. I love the velvet finish of the cards. Compare with a Marseille deck, which is line work, has been coloured in. It might just show 4 pentacles or 4 cups. I kind of get turned off because I don't find it visually exciting. But these ones, oh man, the colours, they're just brilliant. I love the look of the matte black. It's just such a nice contrast with these colours and with the images. what deck slaps you with the truth? For me, this is the Healing Light Tarot. It's a deck that shows a lot of energy, action, something's happening in the moment, and I find that confronting to me because it kind of questions me, well, what are you doing about it? Are you, for example, in despair? Are you going to grab that Ace of Pentacles? You know, it's shining in front of you. Are you going to make a decision? Are you going to, you know, break loose of chains and just dance the night away? Are you going to grab that sword? Are you going to create? It doesn't let you get away with, well, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. It's just such a good deck for me as a earth element sign. And what's the deck that got away? For me, this is the Witch's Tarot by Alan Cannon and Martin Reed, and it was published in 1989. And I love the images in this deck. I love the connection with the Kabbalah. It's out of print. And it's really super expensive to buy. It's way out of my budget to do that, to buy this deck, but I love it. So there you have it. Those are my answers to the 21 tarot questions by Lisa and Peggy Papez. Thank you so much for creating this tag. It was such a fun thing to do. It was so much fun to do. And I hope you enjoy this video and have a happy day. Thank you. Bye.